Sponsored by Bangtak, Sustainable Business Development in Harmony with the Environment and Society.
For India, Southeast Asia represents one avenue to diversify its relationships with the face of Beijing's growing influence in the region. But the Asia-Pacific region as a whole would also benefit the tightly knit ASEAN-India relationship. Professor Lipi Ghosh from the Department of South and Southeast Asian Studies, University of Calcutta, tells us more about how this century relations of ASEAN-India will create an open, stable, and peaceful Asia.
Okay, Professor Ghosh, so 20 years have passed for the ASEAN-India relations. What do you think are the challenging issues that all the leaders have addressed and the challenges that still remain?
First thing is that you see, although we are calling that we have passed 20 years, actually I believe that we passed several thousand years of our relations. Historically. But from the political angle of this post-independent India, that is post-1947 relations, we are telling that India-ASEAN relations, that is dialogue partnership. We have crossed 20 years of dialogue partnership. And what I feel is that most important issue is that the essence of the feeling of belonging to each other is still lacking. That is, we are feeling that India belongs to South Asia and ASEAN is basically Southeast or East Asia. But my feeling as a social scientist, I feel that as long as we are confined within this geographical regionalism, that is bit difficult, that cooperation cannot be, real cooperation cannot be expected. So, we need to cross that barrier, that is our mental attitude, that is we need to work for humanity, we need to work for development of the society, and there should be the attitude of cooperation among nations. That is not cooperation among two regions, that is cooperation among several nations for the human being, for the welfare of the human being.
Right. So basically, the cooperation between South Asia and Southeast Asia then come in a modern context as ASEAN and then India.
Yes.
Isn't it still debatable as how actually can South Asia be excluded or included in the dialogue of ASEAN-India cooperation?
It is a bit debatable question, but what I feel is that as I just told during my lecture, that South Asia as a whole, that is, you can if you think of SAARC, it's South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, and SAARC-ASEAN relation, I do not know how practical it is till date, I should say till date. Maybe in some long future, it will come up that all the countries of South Asia will look forward for relations with ASEAN countries. But for the time being, we need to confine ourselves, that is with India-ASEAN relations.
Right.
That will be a better option, because within SAARC, there are many differences, there are many conflicts to some extent, difference of opinions, and until and unless we can solve those problems, it may reflect some negative impacts on India-ASEAN, South Asia-ASEAN relations. That way, it is better to be confined within India-ASEAN relation for the time being.
In terms of political relations, Professor Ghosh comes up with non-traditional security concerns. And non-traditional security concerns between ASEAN and India include issues on terrorism, nuclear non-proliferation, energy security, food and health issues, human rights, as well as migration questions.
So you talk about the non-traditional security.
Yes.
What are those non-traditional security aspects?
Yes. What I feel is that non-traditional security is mainly the aspects which speaks for benefit of the human nation, I mean humanity, human society. As I have pointed out here, that terrorism, migration, then question of human rights, the issue of food and health position. These are some of the important key issues of non-traditional security. That is traditional security. By means of traditional security, we definitely imply the question of military security.
Right.
But these are not military security, but these are the security issues which are very much involved in our everyday social life, and it speaks for the general development of human society. That is the non-traditional security issues.
Right. But you brought up the terrorism aspect.
Yes.
So do you think that the problem is very, present? So there are
yes,
terrorist activities?
yes, certainly. Terrorism is actually a very common issue for the human society as a whole. But for Asia and for both for South Asia, Southeast Asia, terrorism is an important thing that can destroy our old civilization itself. And that way, I believe that we should stand strong together.
ASEAN and India.
ASEAN and India to to combat these forces of terrorism. And terrorism has different shapes.
Can you give me example, specific?
Yes, certainly. Say this. One thing is that terrorism across the sea, that is sea piracy, context of sea piracy. Then the context of even this narco terrorism, as we call, that is how should I say, that is drug trafficking and its impact, adverse impact on human being. These are the things that which can destroy mankind, which can destroy civilization, destroy society. So these are to be combated somehow with the good essence of humanity.
Okay, so how about human rights issue? Violations in ASEAN on human rights, human rights violation are still very omnipresent. On the Rohingyas issue, the violence in West Papua of Indonesia, and also very much in around the cross-border issue between Bangladesh and Myanmar. What is India's role on this?
Yes. India. Most of the time, it again depends according to government policies. Even we can think of this violation of human rights in Myanmar. And government of India's policy was a bit transcending for some period towards supporting pro-democratic movement.
Right.
But later on, we believed that it is a matter of Myanmar herself. It is something belonging to Myanmar's own policy. We should not interfere. So that way it differed. But other things, say in India itself, there is a question of one big major problem of human rights is the issue of untouchability.
Right.
Still in Indian society, particularly in many societies, in many states, if you go to the rural sector, untouchability is taking a very, very bad shape. So India has to rectify her own house, that is important. At the same time, she has to protest for this ongoing complications in the neighboring countries or neighboring region.
Right.
We'll be looking more into non-traditional security topics after Towards 2015 return, particularly those which enhances the relations between ASEAN and India.